Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joe Emilio Show. I'm your host, Joe Emilio, and tonight's only going to be a 1-hour show, ladies and gentlemen. So pretty much after the ad, we're going to go straight into the conversation with my guest, Troubled Cat, aka Jerome, or actually, no, wait, Jerome, aka Troubled Cat. Actually, I don't know if he goes by Troubled Cat anymore, but we'll get into that a bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it. And we're going to talk about, should entertainment have wokeism? Yay or nay? We're going to be talking about that. All that and a lot more coming up right after this.
Jokes on you, because that's how I met my wife, okay?
Because that's the last time I go to a Christmas party with Cracker. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. And for some reason, where did I go? Hello? There we go.
You're somewhere in the dark, load shedding.
No, I am here. For some reason, my other webcam is not cooperating. Oh, okay. Now there's two of me. Hold on.
Yeah.
What do I do? Let's go with this one. Okay, and then wait. Let me try doing this. Hold on. Do that. Okay, there we go. And now we add this one. Okay, fantastic. I don't know what happened there, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. And with me is Jerome, aka Troubled Cat. Do you still go by Troubled Cat?
Not actually. Since I got banned from Twitter again, I'm like, nope, I won't be using that anymore.
Okay, cool. So just Jerome for that matter. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you to go and follow Jerome on Twitter. But yeah, like he just said, he got banned. We'll probably talk about that a bit later. What we're here to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who may not remember, I had Jerome on my show about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. We were talking about the problems or how do we put it? The
dark side of the LGBT.
Yes, the dark side of the LGBTQ plus community. Very spicy conversation, and I encourage you guys to go check it out. But tonight we're here to talk about wokeism and is it a good thing that it's in our entertainment? If Mork Rock was watching the show, he'd immediately say no. But we're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to get into a little bit more in depth, and I'm going to let Jerome start us off. So Jerome, where do you want to start with this conversation? I mean, for me, right off the bat, I'm going to say no. I don't think wokeism should be in entertainment.
Same, yeah. The thing is, it's like, would you like to start with like what's the specific issues with wokeism, or what's the agenda behind it?
Well, let's start with let's ease into the agenda. So the first one.
Yeah. So when it comes to wokeism, the exact issues with it is the fact that you have entertainment being produced and distributed for the purpose of like, oh, we need to push a message. Now, that message it could be anything. It could be like, oh, climate change, socialism, whatever you can think of. That's what wokeism is usually just there. It's a vehicle for an ideology. The problem with it is that it doesn't work on meritocracy, it doesn't work on quality. It's just like we're going to put this out for the sake of putting out. If you can think of like those films, most of them don't do well because when it comes to the marketing, it's like, oh, look, we have a gay character, we have a black female lead, then the story itself, it isn't there, it isn't worth it. So it's a waste of time, it's a waste of resources when it comes to woke entertainment. It doesn't give any kind of value to the consumer. Because the thing is, when you spend or you invest your time into something, you want to get that return.
Yeah, I think like we've seen a few examples in recent entertainment. Well, I mean, like it's difficult though, especially when it comes to like, okay, let me put it this way. when it comes to saying women being in the lead role, some people might see that as woke,
Mm-hmm.
like a woke message. We're trying to empower women.
Yeah.
They're very strong. They can be strong characters. They can do it independently. They're just as good as Arnold Schwarzenegger. A good example of this is the recent Resident Evil. I don't know if you've watched the series on Netflix, the new one that just came out.
Oh no, I've seen it. It's something. It's something.
Look, there's a lot that's wrong with that series. It's not because of the lead, okay? I mean, there's a lot else
Listen,
that's wrong.
It makes the Resident Evil film look like works of art.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is very true. But I mean, there was a bit, I felt, that agenda that we're about to get into, like, okay, we're going to push a female lead. And I don't necessarily think she was a bad actress. I don't think she was the best actress. I look, it's difficult to really fault her per se because the writing was also crap. Like the writing, the way they put it all together, like the whole thing is a hot mess. So it's difficult to say, oh, because this woman was lead, therefore, ergo, it was terrible and there's a woke agenda. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that there is this sudden push for female leads in almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to wonder, like, why is that? I think sometimes, yes, there is a time and place for it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a Kill Bill. I mean...
Yeah, but the thing is...
That's a classic.
The reason why, like, for Kill Bill, for example, like, the problem with Kill Bill is that there's no issue when it comes to the female lead. Yeah. You have a well-written character, you have a great script, you have no agenda being pushed. Those are the things that don't exist with Kill Bill, or whether it be Ripley from Alien. You just have quality writing and a quality character.
Exactly.
And that's where the problem comes in. It's that when you look at woke entertainment, the characters are there as a mouthpiece. They're not there to be a part of the story or to be active. They're just there to promote propaganda. The other problem is the writing is often like, it's bad. So when you have all of that working together, it's like, okay, you're going to have something that's going to put people off.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, some people have told me, like, Star Wars, the recent, I don't know if you've watched Star Wars or the recent trilogy. There's wokeism.
Wasted my time on the first one.
Okay.
I wasted my time on the first one.
Apparently there's a lot of wokeism in Star Wars, which I've watched a few times. I didn't really get that, except for, again, one could argue, or my friends would tell me, yeah, but the lead is a female. And that's not necessarily woke. That's just like, okay, yeah, they're pushing maybe a feminist agenda or whatever, but maybe they're also trying something new. I mean, I don't mind that. I really don't. Again, it was poor writing in general, but I didn't feel that Star Wars, for example, had a lot of woke in it. Am I wrong?
The thing is, it's like when it comes to Disney, for example, the issue with Disney is the company and then the products they put out. So, for example, you have Kathleen Kennedy that will say the future is female, the force is female. And then you have the products coming out, and it's like, okay, so you have a female lead. This is what you say as a company. I'm going to put two and two together and say, okay, you know what, it's woke. Because, for example, if you look at the Lightyear film, they were like, we have our first female kiss, but Disney has a multitude of first gay characters, except when it goes to China or the Middle East, then suddenly there's no gay characters. And then the fact is with the issue in Florida with the Don't Say Gay bill, where it's basically they said in certain grades you're not supposed to discuss any sexual orientation, whether it's gay, straight, nothing of sex is going to be discussed. And so Disney as a company saying, oh, you know what, we're going to push this agenda, we're going to make sure everything is gay. And so Lightyear was an unsuccessful film because you had what the company was in, and then you had the film being pushed as, oh, look, we have this gay character. And then it's like, okay, this is woke. So the thing is, when it comes to determining whether something's woke or not is based on the content of the show or whether what the company that's putting it out is saying.
Okay. Well, then in my opinion, I didn't think the recent trilogy of Star Wars was that woke. I do think that I haven't seen that this Toy Story spin-off that you're
The Force
talking
is
about. I haven't seen that one. I've heard about it, but I don't like to comment on something that I haven't seen yet. But I mean, okay, there's many other examples, right? I mean, we mentioned Resident Evil, we mentioned Star Wars, a bit of Star Wars, even the most recent Star Wars series, Kenobi.
Kenobi.
There was a bit of like, again, that agenda push for female strong
Even
lead.
with that one, for example, like again, we can look at how the company handled it. So a lot of people were like, listen, we don't like this character. She doesn't make sense. That's our problem. Then you had people on the show coming out, you know what? You guys are just racist. Stop being racist and just what we're giving you. And the thing is, even the actor, I think her name was Moses something. She was like, listen, in Star Wars, there's over 1 billion racist people and blah 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 blah, but you don't have any black characters in it. It's like, okay, so what was Mace Windu? Like, what was he? Was he not black?
I remember that. Oh my word, that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. And like, if you want to be really woke about Kenobi, right? I mean, I found it. I mean, I'm not saying I was offended by this, but I mean, I could imagine. I was kind of waiting for the Asians to start canceling the show because the one Asian-looking guy who's supposed to be an alien has that Asian hat-looking thing. I mean, that's way more out there.
But that's the thing. It's like Asians don't care about anything. Like they like, listen, take our culture. We don't care. We like it.
Yeah.
Because even like with the Resident Evil, and even Lando, and then you could even take characters from like the video games of Star Wars. I can't remember his name, but in Knights of the Old Republic, you have a Black Jedi. He becomes a part of your team. He plays a role in the story. So you have all of these characters, whether it's female characters in Star Wars, whether it's black characters in Star Wars. Even in Star Wars, you'll have like your LGBT characters. So it's like the representation is there. But the problem is that they want to be in the center of attention 24/7. For example, are you familiar with Warhammer 40K?
No.
Yeah. So Warhammer, how can I say, it's a tabletop RPG video game. It encompasses a lot of stuff. Now this universe is very grimdark. And so like everyone's dying, everyone's being killed. It's a whole shit show.
Yeah.
And you have the Space Marines. Now the Space Marines are like the poster boys for this franchise. And you had a lot of people saying, oh, we want female Space Marines. We want to be at the front and center. Because eventually when people are saying, it's like, listen, there is a female faction in Warhammer that's completely female. I think they like nuns, but they're nuns with guns essentially. And there you have your female faction. Why would you want to be included in the Space Marines when you have your own thing? But then eventually they came out and said, it's like, hey, listen, the only reason we want this is because it's popular and we want to be there. We want to be popular as well. That's kind of what the problem is at the end of the day. A lot of these franchises just get wokeified or modernized is another word they like to use, because they want to be like, okay, you know what, we want to push our agenda on people. Because the thing is, if you like something popular, you're going to have the dedicated fan base. Now, when you take it over, those fans now, they go away, they demoralize, or they stay, and they now become a part of the problem. So basically what's happening is that you just basically have people being radicalized, because eventually, you know what, you're going to accept that, you know what, we need more representation, we need more diversity. Like it doesn't matter if, like for example, with the new Game of Thrones spin-off show, showrunner, what did he say again? I'm trying to remember. Oh, we turned this one house in the show black, like we race swapped them, because no one wanted to see more white people on screen.
Okay. Okay. That's okay. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. So what I actually want to also mention to you is, so here's my thing, right? I don't mind women taking a lead role. Okay, in some instances, like I enjoyed the Resident Evil with Mila Jovovich, right? I mean, that was
Me
great.
too.
I enjoyed that. There's other female lead roles that I think are great, like G.I. Jane. I can't think of anything else, but there's a lot of movies I'll watch with female main roles, and they're great. But like you said, just the story needs to be written well. And I'm going here with Kathleen Kennedy, I think her name is.
Yeah.
Because it is true that Disney is trying to almost virtue signal with the content that they're creating and also the writers that they have. With, for example, Kenobi, and they were showing the writing room. It was all women and of different races and all that stuff. And again, I don't have a problem with that. But then listen to the fans. Like, don't start making your own, like, imaginary story. Like, Kenobi was terrible. I'm sorry. I was very disappointed in it. And it felt like those women just went on their own mission with the story and didn't really listen to the fans. And whether it was men writing that or a mix of the two or whatever, fans want content creators to stick to, or when I say content creator, I mean
The source
broadcasters.
material.
Yeah, to stick to the source material because that's what we're expecting to see and that's what we want to see. So the point of me telling you all this is that I don't necessarily think that putting a female, as a main character is a woke thing. I don't see it that way. I think it's okay to have that out there because some women are naturally, I don't know, they take control of situations and they can be strong or whatever.
Yeah, no, that does happen.
Yeah, but what I want to know is, like, what is one thing that is going on now in the entertainment industry where you can see blatantly that it is like woke content or the agenda is really being pushed.
In basically everything, that's the thing. Like it spreads far and wide that there's no place you can look and be like, oh, you know what? It doesn't exist here. It exists in comics, video games, novels, film, television, even like food stuff. Like when a company is to use, like, look at what was it during like what Pride Month again, June, whatever. Look a game and know when Pride Month is. So I think it was in June. Yeah, in June, all the companies are like, oh, look how gay we are. We care so much about the gay people. But it's like your Middle Eastern accounts don't put the pride flag up.
No.
Then your Asian companies don't put the pride flag up. So it's like, okay, why exactly are you even like virtue signaling to us? It's like, because you're saying, oh, like, look, we care about you, but our other companies don't. And so it exists everywhere and you can't really escape it. Because what was it? There was even like a Nestlé commercial here in South Africa where they had, I don't know if it was transgender or not binary. I don't know these days. But literally, Nescafe had a whole ad this month actually. And they were like, oh, here's our ad on coffee. And we're going to have someone come and talk about their gender identity.
What's it got to do with coffee?
Exactly. It has nothing to do with coffee. But they do this at the end of the day because they're just like, okay, you know what? We want to constantly push the messaging. And the reason they do this is because they get funding for it. I mentioned it in the last stream we did. ESG. So ESG, it's environmentalism, social, and governance. Environmentalism, it's basically, do you promote care for the environment in your whatever that you're producing, whether it's a show, video game, a product, do you like at least say something? Then you have social. Social now talks about the workplace. Do you have like equal opportunities? Do you have representation? Do you have like 50% women, 50% men? What's the racial demographic at the company? Then governance talks about how do you work with the government? Do you push like certain legislative policy? Do you like agree? Are you like pro-gun, anti-gun? And basically, each requirement you meet, you get money from like BlackRock or any similar institutions. And that's why a lot of these companies go with the wokeism, because wokeism is basically the ESG score.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Follow the money, basically. And
yes.
I mean, at the same time, like it's interesting to me how there is pushback, but it seems like the lefties, if I can put it that way, or the people that support wokeism, when it doesn't go their way, They are very loud, and they get the companies to kind of like get scared. Entertainment companies get scared. Everyone gets scared, and they're like, okay, okay, we'll do this. We'll have a black female James Bond, for example, and they just kind of give into it. But yet the other side seems to be complacent and like, okay, cool, let's see how this pans out. Do you see that as well, or do you see there's outrage on both sides?
The thing is, there is outrage on like my side of things, but the thing is, we don't write strongly worded letters. We don't go complain on Twitter in mass and get the companies to like bend the knee. Because the reason a lot of companies even went woke in the first place is because conservatives weren't complaining the way the left does. Like the moment the left doesn't like something, they will boycott a company, they will phone advertisers, business partners, they will make sure that what they want happens. Conservatives don't do that. They're like, you know what, we will wait to see what happens. Because even if, like, for example, with Star Wars, even though the first film in the new trilogy was bad, fans were like, oh no, you know what, we're gonna go watch it again. Then the second one was bad. Then they went to go watch a third one. The third one was bad. Then they went to go watch what was it? The Mandalorian. Now the Mandalorian was good,
Yeah.
but then they went to go watch Boba Fett. Boba Fett was bad. Then like we're gonna watch Kenobi. Kenobi was also bad. So the thing is, it's like what happens is consumers on either side of this, they will still go if nostalgia is thrown in front of it. It's the same thing with branding. Even like you look at the Marvel films, like even if the Marvel films are crappy, people are still gonna go. They're still gonna go pay the money to go see it, and that's kind of the issue on the conservative side is that they don't have principles when it comes to the entertainment they consume. They're like, oh, you know what? We'll see. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, even if they haven't changed after like the 10 times I've done it. What you also see with the conservatives, but the thing is, it's not just conservatives. It's like people from all political aisles. Because the thing is, any single disagreement you have with the left puts you on the right of them, and so it's like you like for J.K. Rowling, for example, she's left on every single policy. And was even left on transgenderism. Then she saw it's like, okay, you know what? I see there's a bit of an issue with this, so I'm gonna disagree with it. Now suddenly she's a conservative, but like no, she's still for pro-immigration. She's still for gun control. She's still for everything. She didn't change. And with that, you have people political aisle saying, you know what, we're gonna do our own thing. So for example, I don't know if you know Eric July. Yeah. So Eric July, he started his own book company and said, you know what, I'm gonna do also crowdfunding. His initial goal was $100,000. He has now, the last time I checked, made over 3 million. His campaign is still going. So you do have people that want to create their own stuff, and if they manage to put out a quality product and actually care about consumers, you will have people willing to put money where their mouth is and support these people. Then when it comes to the other side, the progressives, yeah, no, it's difficult to please them. These people want to be outraged because it's the only thing that gives them purpose. If they don't virtue signal and say, oh, look how much good person I am, I got more representation. If they don't do something like that, they're not going to be able to brag in front of their friends and feel like a good person because be like, oh, look, I done this. And then people be like, oh, yes, you got more people represented. But it's like the representation you got isn't something to write home about.
Yeah.
Because, for example, look, like with the female James Bond, um, that's not like a black female character you can be like, yes, this is what we want. It's basically like, oh, take these table scraps of this white established character that
Okay, some connection issues there. Sorry, guys. I am keeping an eye on the chats. If you guys want to just keep your questions coming in, and we'll address them a bit later. I'm just waiting for Jerome to get back to us. He seems to be having some technical issues. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're talking about wokeism in entertainment, yay or nay. And Zach saying, "Look at Joe. Look at me." Okay. Yeah. So I see Jerome's trying to connect again. Hold on. Let's see if we can get him back. There we go.
Yeah, the internet crapped on me for a bit.
No worries. You were
Yeah.
just talking about the female James Bond. That's where we lost you.
Yeah, no. So the thing is, so with the female James Bond, it's like you take in a white established male character, and it's like, okay, we're going to change the race, we're going to change the gender, and it's like, yeah, take it. Now, the problem with that at the end of the day is it's table scraps. But people love it. They're like, you know what, we don't care. Because the thing is, they see legitimacy through white characters. That's why when it's like, oh, like for example, Marvel and DC, they have a plethora of black characters. Like even in the encyclopedias that they sell, you can see all of the black characters, the Asian characters, the gay characters. They have all of that there. But the problem is at the end of the day, it's that they're like, oh, you know what? We can't write these characters well enough. We can't promote them well enough. So we're going to take the easy route of being like, oh, here's a black Superman, here's a black Batman. And that for me is the biggest problem because it's like the people that accept this, it's like, okay, you know what? We don't need effort. We just want to be represented. Now, for me, that's very shallow because the thing is, relatability is more important. Because the thing is, for example, you can watch a film like Kill Bill, for example, if we're going to now go back to the old films. You can relate to that, to the character itself. It's like, okay, you know what? Something bad happened to me. I want to get revenge. Like, we can relate to that because at some point we've all wanted to get back at someone. And that's why the character was so well received because it's like, oh, I've had that moment where I wanted revenge to get back at someone. I can relate to this. Now, relatability is more important because the thing is you can relate with anyone at the end of the day. If you can find that one thing, you can relate to them.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's the same with comedy, and I think stand-up comedy has also taken a bit of a beating recently with wokeism and all the people, all the snowflakes getting offended and.
I think Dave Chappelle even had a show canceled because people were like, oh no, we don't want Dave Chappelle to speak here, so his show got canceled somewhere.
Yeah, he got attacked. Someone attempted to attack him again on stage. Or was it him? Or was it... No, I think it was Chris Rock. I don't know. I can't remember. One of those two were at a show together and someone charged the stage. I did speak about it. And yeah, it's like people can't take a joke anymore. You know, everything's like snowflakey. And I think that kind of attitude is, I think Jerome is gone. Hello, Jerome, are you still with me? Hello? He got disconnected again. I don't want to continue my train of thoughts until he's back. Let me just figure this out. All right, let's see here. Nope, still nothing. Sorry about this, guys. Just trying to get him to connect again. Yeah. He just says, sorry, internet giving him issues. No worries. They've got him. Yeah, they've YouTube's clearly not liking this conversation. Let's see. Okay, he's back now. Well, ain't this a biatch? Yeah. Nice one. Yeah, I think there's definitely a blatant agenda being pushed. But again, like I wanted to actually speak to Jerome about this. Let's see. Hopefully, he's back now. All right.
Yeah, no. If it happens at the time, we can call it quits because third time's the charm, and it's probably giving me signs. Sky's probably saying, "Oh, Jerome's Wi-Fi, it's acting up again.
No worries. I think YouTube is maybe not happy with the conversation, but here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back with Jerome, and we're talking about wokeism in entertainment. Yay or nay? Look, I think for me and Jerome, it's a nay.
We are in agreement.
It's a nay, but we're just discussing some of the things that are blatantly being put out there by the powers that be, if I can put it that way. Let's talk about the agenda a bit. I mean, we have touched on it a bit, but let's go a bit deeper into that. What is it that you have to say about the agenda that's being pushed?
The agenda is basically this. It's that it wants to keep people, like, how can I say, drowned in politics. That's the best way I can put it, because whenever you look at wokeism, there's politics behind it, whether it's women's rights, LGBT rights, but they frame it like that. But the fact is they'll easily backtrack on what their stance is, because it's the same thing that communists used to do. Communists, once they established their revolution, they would have every single program that came out be about propaganda, like you need to obey the state, you need to be ready for the revolution. The revolution is always here. It's never ending, but you just need to be willing to do whatever you can. And that's the agenda. It's that they want to keep people glued into politics, because a lot of people, I couldn't find the video for this, but it was a Reddit post where this video is being discussed. And basically it was this. It's that there are people that live through the media. And we saw that with the last 2 years we spent in lockdown, that a lot of people live through the media. So in a lot of media, for example, media will showcase that, oh no, you know what, America is a very racist country. It's so bad for all of the POC, the BIPOC, the biracial people of color, whatever it's called. But the thing is, it's like, you look at America, if you live there, it's like, okay, there's no racism towards the non-whites, but if you're white, yeah, no, you will find racism, because it's like it's approved against you. And so the thing is, it's that they want to keep you glued into politics, because then they can easily be like, oh guys, you saw America's so racist because you watch TV or you listen to the news. Then it'd be like, oh, please vote for us. We'll end racism. We'll do this. We'll do that. Because it's the same thing with Roe v. versus Wade getting overturned. A lot of women were like, oh, it's a handmaid's tale. It's a handmaid's tale. It's like, no, it's not. Where exactly do you get this idea? It wasn't banned. You can still vote for it. But the fact is, a lot of people live through the media, and they take what they see there as being objective reality. And that's the agenda behind it. It's to keep people always in politics, no matter what, from the time, whether they're at work or when they get home. Politics 24/7. So if they want to get you to vote, it's an easy thing. For example, I think in Kenobi, I don't know if it was the first episode, but they had a scene where the children were like Order 66, when all the Jedi got killed, regardless of age. And this happened during one of the mass shootings in America. And people on Twitter were like, oh, this is so traumatizing. Like, couldn't they put a warning right now? Something bad happened in America. We need to take care. We need to let people be aware that this isn't happening. I was triggered.
It's just, but that's just snowflakes, like that tough. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. We also need to stop bending to these snowflakes, to these people that get triggered over anything. I mean, there's people that are going to be triggered by this conversation.
Exactly.
And it feels like you no longer can have like a normal conversation anymore, just a conversation about ideas or thoughts or opinions. But before I digress and go into a tangent, I just also want to say, like, the agenda that you speak of that's being pushed, do you maybe also think, like, I get the sense that, corporate media will talk about something, all right, and then it's politicized or whatever, and then your politicians talk about something, and then the entertainment world kind of normalizes it, if I can put it that way,
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happens, because the thing is, media gets subsidies from the government. Corporations get tax cuts and whatever else. And then the thing is, the corporation and media entities, they're like, oh, you know what, we'll sponsor you, we'll run your campaigns, whatever. So you have all of these entities just working together. And that's what happens. So, for example, how can I say? So, when transgenderism was becoming popular, how did it become popular exactly? The politicians spoke about it. You had the Kardashians with that. I think it was what the Caitlyn Jenner special or whatever, where it was just focusing on Bruce now becoming a woman. Then you have the corporations talk about, oh, you know what? We respect pronouns. We respect your choice. And then even like at Pride in America in June, you had corporations at the Pride Festival with their brand and everything. Regardless of what was happening, they were there like, we are going to be there. So you have everything when it comes to media, government, and corporation just working together because everyone gets money out of this. It's not that they actually care about what they're talking about. For example, with Joe Biden, when he was Obama's vice president, he was like, "I don't care about gay marriage. Abortion is wrong." When he became president, when he was running for president, it's like, "I believe in abortion. I believe in gay rights."
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like these people don't actually care about what they talk about.
No.
They just want money and they want power. That's it. They don't care about what they say. Now, the people that support them, very different story. They might believe everything that comes out of their mouths.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Politicians lie all the time, and I mean, we see the same thing in South Africa. With politicians that say they're going to do things and they don't end up doing them, or using, like you said, old rhetoric to continue on their agenda. Like until today, I mean, Cyril apparently is going to be chatting to us at 8 o'clock about the Eskom crisis. I'm willing to bet you my left nut that he's probably going
talking to
blame
us.
apartheid. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, he is. He's addressing the nation.
Oh wait, no.
Electricity crisis.
Oh yeah, but no, the curry communist Pravin Gordhan, he.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I'm not on Twitter to say these things anymore, unfortunately. So my wise words will not be heard as much as I'd like them to be heard.
I will
Yeah,
clip,
no,
I will clip
yeah.
that segment and put it on Twitter and make sure
Thank you.
people hear it.
The curry communist. The thing is, Pravin, I don't know if it was just Pravin or if it was like other members of the ANC. They went to Solidarity and they begged them. They're like, guys, please give us your qualified members, like people that can help us. But now, obviously, we know who are the majority of members at Solidarity. It's white people. So it's like, okay, we push the white people out. Let's go big for them to come back. It's like, okay, is this Zimbabwe, but state-owned enterprise edition?
Exactly. I look. I mean, we're gonna get into a whole nother conversation about Eskom and load shedding. I was just saying that Cyril, to your point with the whole communist.
Again.
Can you hear me, Jerome?
I can hear you. I think
Okay.
my internet is it's fighting to stay alive.
No. Oh, and there it goes. As he said, it was fighting. Um, all right. Why are people talking about Alex J in my chats? Who said something about that? Not that I mind. I'm just curious. I saw the name. Like, okay. All right. So I don't know. Okay. So he's gonna attempt to come back. Do we have connection?
Yeah, no, it wasn't the internet this time. I got kicked out.
It sounds like it's the internet because you're lagging quite badly. Hello? Hello?
These
Oh, wait.
internet problems.
You're,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Yeah,
now,
okay.
and it looks like I can see you now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I actually got kicked out. Like it wasn't even my internet. I got kicked out.
That's weird. All right. So what I was trying to say is like with your idea, with
Yeah.
your example of communism, where you said that the communists use the propaganda machine. They do the same thing in South Africa. Where Cyril will say like, it's because of apartheid and it's because. No. Okay. Sorry, guys. Last time his internet wasn't this bad. He got cut off once. I don't know. what's going on with his internet. Uh, yeah. I'm not even going to be able to finish this point now. So, if anybody's wondering if I'm going to watch Cyril address us, no, I just don't have the energy, and I don't have the time to listen to his lies. I'll probably just get like a thing. It's frozen, I think. Yeah, it's frozen. It's not a bad shot of Jerome.
Okay, I can see.
Wait, okay. No, here I.
Oh yeah, no, it's frozen on your side.
Yeah, I can hear you though. Okay, wait. There we go.
Let me just-
I think you're back.
Okay, okay, can you see me?
I can
Okay,
I can
let's hope I'm back in long enough for this to finish.
Yeah.
Let's just because now my internet's just like, okay, this is getting a bit too much.
No worries, man. Oh my word. I agree with you, Coquette. So thank you so much for tuning in, man. Thanks for everybody who's tuning in and being so patient, man. I'm really sorry. I can't. I don't understand what is going on. Okay, let's try. Coquette, I'm still get you to co-host with me. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is getting funny. I'm getting told that. Thank you for joining. Reconnect.
All right. So.
Yeah. You were talking about communists.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get past that point now.
Just try.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
I was trying to say that the ANC does it today, where they just use the same propaganda over and over and over, like they did during the communist in Russia and all that bullshit.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you look at last year, you had the last 2 years, you had media.
Yeah.
And then you also had corporations. Because remember how what's his name, the CEO of Discovery, whatever his name is, he was like, "Guys, listen, we need to get the jab.
Yes.
We should get the flu shot."
Yeah.
And then the media was like, "We should also get the flu shot." So it's like, it's very obvious that there's like an active effort to work together from like certain sides.
Yes. No. Absolutely. And I think. It will continue to be like that until obviously the powers that be change. But then again, I question if that's even possible. But let's go back to the entertainment and wokeism, right? So, do you think that maybe some companies, these excluding Disney, because Disney's bought out everyone, almost everyone,
monopolies.
Like guys like Netflix, right? So Netflix is its own thing; it's its own giant.
Yeah,
and they do have a bit of woke content, but they also don't, eh? Like. They had a show called Snowflakes somethings. It's like
Snowflakes. I actually want to watch that.
It's good. It is good, and it's actually promoting people to not be snowflakes, basically. And I thought it was great. I thought it was a great show. So they have. I feel like Netflix in recent time, especially since Dave Chappelle's special, they've tried to bring a balance. I think there still is more woke content than there is non-woke content. But I think they're slowly starting to, and even the CEO recently put out a thing, because obviously with Dave Chappelle, the Netflix got a lot of backlash, and then Netflix said, you know what, we are here to promote any and all content. If you don't like it, well then leave. And I think since then it's kind of like set the tone. Do you think if other companies start doing that, we might have a bit of a more balanced entertainment world?
The only way you're going to get that is to two things. Either the companies will start losing a lot of money with the woke stuff, like Netflix is. That's the reason why, like, you'll notice like a lot of shows are either getting cancelled, not getting new seasons, because they're losing money. They've actually lost almost 1 million subscribers, I think, this quarter that just passed.
Wow.
So it's like they bleed in numbers. And the reason why is because they were putting so much woke content out. Like a lot of companies are eventually going to realize and be like, okay, you know what? Going woke isn't bringing us profits because, like, yeah, BlackRock gives them funding for the ESG score if they meet the requirements. But this is the thing. The money's eventually going to run out. So they can't keep this trend going on forever. And with successes like Top Gun 2, people can see, okay, you know what, if you put out good entertainment, people are going to come and see it. Because this thing is like, I don't think a lot of people were like, oh, Top Gun, it's such an amazing film. I need to go watch it. But because it was just like, I'm here to entertain you. Watch me if you want to. If you don't, it's fine. Like, we're not going to say you sexist, misogynistic, homophobic, whatever. And eventually it's going to get to that point because companies are losing money and people are starting to make the decision to be like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to watch this because I have my principles. Because that's what happened with Lightyear. People are like, okay, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this agenda, so I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to take my children. And that's why it's been doing so badly. So
Yeah.
eventually there will be a change, but when it exactly comes, that's a bit of the issue. And then on the fact about like why you have a lot of wokeness in companies, it doesn't always come from the top, like the CEO. You have the person that does the hiring and firing manages to make a company woke. So you have your HR people, because it's the same way. I think it was Stalin. The reason why Stalin was able even to get into power is because he was the person that done the hiring and firing. So he hired people that thought like him. So it's like, okay, this is how I'm gonna establish what I want. So that's how the communist revolution happened with Stalin. Now it's the exact same thing. Did you ever see that video of that lady from Canada who was like, HR is listening? She looked very crazy.
Yeah, I think so. That rings a bell.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how HR is. Like a lot of people in HR, they do the hiring and firing. They very progressive. They decide what the company culture is. And that's why you could have like at Netflix when you had a board meeting of like the top members and shareholders, you had this transgender activist or whatever like barge into the room and it's like, hey, we need to talk about Dave Chappelle's special. And guess what happened to them? They got they got I think it was what, I don't know, they got suspended with pay or something. So they were like, oh, you know, we're just going to suspend you, but we're still going to give you money. It's like how the ANC is like, oh, you know what, so and so is caught in corruption again, we're going to send them home, but we're still going to pay them, you know, because we know they done it, but you know, comrades must loot together.
Exactly. No, it's interesting times to say the least. I mean, I'm curious to know. Do you think that because we often talk or you hear people say that the pendulum will swing back, you know, because throughout history the pendulum swings to the left and then it swings to the right, back and forth. I have my own opinion on that. But what is your opinion? What do you think we're going to? Do you think it's going to swing back more towards the right again?
Oh yes, the thing is, if people aren't careful, we're gonna see the pendulum swing again, and we're gonna go to the old 80s, 90s right-wing conservatism, where it's like, oh, Dungeons and Dragons is satanic, video games lead to violence. Like, we're gonna basically go back to what we had before if people don't pay attention. And that's just my biggest thing. It's because I already saw like a Christian, an article from a Christian website that was like, Dungeons and Dragons is a problem for America. And I read the article and it's like, because of Dungeons and Dragons, the January 6th insurrection happened. So a tabletop RPG, a board game, was responsible for why January 6th happened. So the thing is, it's like, okay. It's like, okay, what would I prefer? Would I prefer Christians down my throat, or would I prefer progressives down my throat? It's like, okay, I would take the Christians because no one listens to them. So it's like, okay, if the pendulum swings, it's like, okay, it's fine. You know what? We've dealt with this before. But I would prefer things in the center, at least just once. Just in the center, just once.
Yeah, I think if there is a time where things are in the center, it doesn't last very long.
Oh yeah, no, it never lasts long. It's like, no, we must go to the extreme.
I have a different theory. I think that things are going to split. I think that the pendulum is going to split. And what's going to happen is you're going to have communities, businesses, so on and so forth in your area that are, you can see, if you go to like a movie theater that's only going to play, conservative or center content, and there won't be any like woke content, for example, or left-leaning content.
That'll definitely happen.
Yeah.
The reason it'll happen is because of the time we're living. So the thing is, it's very easy for people to start their own businesses. It's very easy to set up your own website, app, whatever you want to. That's the reason why, like, the split you're talking about is going to happen. But the thing is, it's already happening now. Like, the pendulum is on the far left side as it is right now. And we already see, like, for example, Comicsgate. So Comicsgate is basically like, okay, you know what? We want to just make comics for entertainment purposes. We don't want to beat you over the head with a hammer about our politics.
Yes.
And so that's why Comicsgate came up. So you already have like the beginnings of this split happening, where it's like, okay, you know what? If you support my ideas, if you stand with me, if you just want my money, I'll come here. I'll give you business. Mm. And so we're already seeing that. So when the pendulum does swing to the right, it's gonna just establish itself, and that will become our live reality of like, you go where you want it, basically.
Mm. Exactly. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that's going to...
Oh, no, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's going to open up a lot of doors for certain people. And I think everybody will just know, okay, cool, I'm not going to go to this business. But just because you don't go doesn't mean other people won't go. And everybody can just live their life the way they want to.
I think it's the same thing like with I think if you looked on the link I sent you for like my coffee page, at the right at the bottom you'll find a source book for a tabletop game that I'm working on. So I'm making my own Dungeons and Dragons basically, and the reason I'm making it is because Dungeons and Dragons has went woke. Most of everything is woke these days, because like for example in Dungeons and Dragons, if you played a certain race you'd get penalties. So if you played an orc, it would be like, okay, you're not that smart, you're dumb. Now, obviously, they took away the racial penalties because people were arguing that orcs are black people. And so they were like, we're not...
Orcs are fictional, right? Like they don't exist. There's no race
to
them.
They don't exist. But the thing is, you need to remember with progressives, they see everything in anything. So they can see an orc, and the thing they think about is like, oh, that's a black person. Because the thing is, this is one thing, we know progressives are everything they say that they're against. They say, oh, I'm not sexist, but then you'll hear the most atrocious stories about them. They'll say, oh, we're not racist. But what happened with, was it Judge Clarence Thomas? What was he called on Twitter when Roe v. Wade got overturned? Mm-hmm. It was the N-word with a hard R. Yes. It was like, we can see what's happening.
Like
So, yeah.
You felt like you were back in the Cowboys and Indians.
Ooh, I was like, wow, is this real?
On the cotton farm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like none of the people that made those tweets with the N-word with the hard R, none of them got banned. None of them got suspended. Yeah. So we can like, okay, if you have the right politics, you can say the bad words. But if you don't have the right politics, we will punish you.
Well, rules for thee and not for me, right?
But that's how it is. And so with my tabletop, it's like there's no wokeism. It's just a game. If you want to play it, you want to play it. If you don't, you don't. Like, I'm not going to say, you need to do this.
Yes. No, and I see a lot of people that do like to play Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, I didn't even know they went woke, man. But yeah.
So much places went woke. When you look into it, you can see a lot of places went woke. Like some of the companies you wouldn't expect to go woke, they're like, yeah, no, we woke. We with that money.
So just to clarify before we end off the show, like. How would you define content that is woke? Is it just when it's pushing that agenda that you spoke of?
Not when it pushes the agenda. It's basically this. It's like if it pushes messaging before the product. It's the same thing that Christians had with their music and films. It's that they push the message before the artistic value of the product they were putting out, or actually the product itself. And that's why like Christian content just died. Like no one cares about it. And that's the same thing with wokeism. It's that it pushes the message before everything else, but now it needs to be a specific message. So now if it's left leaning in certain things, like, oh, we're all about transgenders and we're all about Black Lives Matter, but not in Chicago where 6,000 people die annually. If it's that kind of messaging, then it's like, okay, it's woke. Or for example, if they change the race of certain characters, especially if it's like, oh, these characters were white before, but now suddenly they're black. If it's that kind of thing, and it's the messaging that you get first, then you know that, okay, it's woke. Or another thing is if the company says to you, listen, you're racist if you don't like what we're putting out. If it's that, then you know it's woke. The moment the corporation says lectures to you about morality, you know it's a woke product you're going to get.
And in closing as well, how do you think people should maybe not fight against it, because that sounds a bit aggressive, but maybe push back? Or, I mean, do we send emails, or do we just not show up to the shows and we don't buy movie tickets?
Yeah, no. The thing is, you said it perfectly, but you did leave out one thing. So it's boycott the businesses that deliberately do this, because the thing is, they're not concerned about politics and morality. They're just concerned about the profit. So the moment you see them being inconsistent in certain areas, like for example, Disney will have a pride flag on their Western Twitter pages, but any of the Middle Eastern ones, they're like, oh no, we're not gay. If you see that kind of thing, call out the company and boycott them if necessary. Because the thing is, it's like, give your money to someone that is at least consistent. Even if you disagree with them on principle or values, if they make a quality product, like, throw your money at them. Then it's the next thing is support people that actually produce like content or are creating something. Like, give them your money. So for example, you can go on to like Indiegogo or Kickstarter. You will find people making products that are looking for funding, and do that. Because that's something I do. It's like when I do have the money, I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll give this person money because I like what they're doing. So if you can at least boycott and call out the people that are very inconsistent, and obviously so, and you fund people that create, or you create yourself. Those are 3 things you can do.
All right, cool. And
yeah.
I think that's solid advice, which I think, as we mentioned earlier, very briefly, I think that is sort of already happening. And yeah, so I think we answered the question. I think a lot of people also in the chats agree with us. Wokeism in entertainment, it's a nay from me and Jerome, and a lot of people in. I mean, I haven't seen one person try and even say, oh, it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, that's the thing. It's called a silent majority, but no one cares about a silent majority.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with the gay community when it comes to the whole sexualization of children. Like, a majority of gay people are against it, but because they're so concerned about not being called homophobic or having internalized homophobia, like, they're so concerned about how other people are going to perceive them, they don't say it. They don't be like, oh, you're not, we're against this. It's the same thing with like woke entertainment. People don't want to be called a racist, sexist, everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And so they keep quiet. But when you have these conversations, a lot of people be like, yeah, no, I don't like woke entertainment. I would prefer it just to be entertained and not to be lectured to.
Yeah, exactly. Like Top Gun, Maverick. And here's a interesting question from Joking Atheist. As a previous avid D&D player and Dungeon Master, why create a whole new D&D? Just why not return to an earlier version of D&D without the wokeism? I'm sure you would still hurt them financially? ?
The thing is, it would hurt them financially, but here's the problem. That requires more work from you that purchase the product. Because, for example, with the new Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of people have to do something called homebrewing. So homebrewing is where you make your own content to fix the existing content. So it's like, why should I put effort into something that I purchased? Like, I should get the product out the gate. It's the same thing with video games. It's like, why should I spend $60 to $70 for a game that's unfinished, that's buggy, that has content I don't like? But the way it was advertised, it's like, oh, it has content that I like. That's the reason why at the end of the day, it's like, make your own stuff, boycott where necessary. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you don't want to put in more effort after you buy something. Unless like you're doing like do-it-yourself things. Then yeah, that's a different story. Like, if you want to build your own table, go build your own table. I'll go buy one from the store.
All right, great. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the show. The hour is up, and I do have to go. But I just wanted to say thanks to my guest, Jerome. I hope we'll see you on Twitter soon, but if we don't, that's okay.
Maybe.
I understand. Yeah, it's difficult with the big tech these days. But
but I'll actually, I want to just mention the reason why I got banned again. They found out I was circumventing my first ban. So they're like, oh, we found you out, so we're going to just ban this account as well.
Yeah, that's probably people also reporting you. But ladies and gentlemen, Jerome, thanks again for joining me on the show. It was a very interesting conversation, and I'm sure we'll have you back again very soon. Thanks again.
Preferably when my internet isn't giving me problems.
Hopefully next time it won't be.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cheers, man. Thanks
Thank
so much.
you. Bye.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jerome, AKA Troubled Cat. Well, he's not, I don't know, Troubled Cat seems to have been suspended, unfortunately. He was a great Twitter account that I enjoyed his content. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you may have learned something, at least how to figure out or circumnavigate what is woke, what isn't, and how do I know when entertainment is throwing wokeness at me. And, hopefully... we can make things, or hopefully we've helped you to notice that. Koketso, I see you in the chats, as well as Matthew, Zach, Gert, Amy, Justine LaRue. Who else was here? Of course, Joking Atheist. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for hanging out. Koketso, I still want to get you on the show again I want to get you on the show again, but I also want you to be my co-host. We'll figure that out. I'll be in contact with you. But ladies and gentlemen, I do have to say that the next few weeks I will be taking a bit of a break from YouTube. I'm going away. And just taking a little bit of a break. So you will see me here and there. You're definitely going to see me tomorrow evening with Dion from Billion, where we're going to be talking about why you should be investing in gold. And why it is still a good idea to hold on to that gold. And then on Thursday, I'll be back with Comedians Roast the Headlines next week. Will probably only be Comedians Roast the Headlines. And then I'm going away for just a week. I won't be gone long. And then I'll be back with the normal scheduled stuff. I'll be having my lawyer on the show as well. So we're going to be talking about defamation, ladies and gentlemen. What is defamation? What are the differences? There's two different types of defamation, and what are the differences, and how is the legal process, what you can expect from the legal process, and why it takes so long, and is it worth it in the end? We're going to be discussing all that and a lot of other things, ladies and gentlemen, when I have my lawyer on, which will be pretty much the week that I come back. So more information on that as the days go by. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow evening. Stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.